Good morning. This is Peter Holber with the X Factor. I am here with Keith Weedman of Level 3 by Design for our weekly insights. And today, Keith is going to be sharing with us how perceiving is a creative act. And I am very excited to hear this, and I know it will be impacting for you. Good morning, Keith. How are you today?
Good morning, Peter. I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. So explain to us how perceiving is a creative act. Can't wait to hear this.
The best way I can explain it is by sharing a story for you. And then from that story, I'm going to teach a little bit. The story is this. I was leading a training session. The session was on feedback. I had middle managers, I had the executive, and they had the people who reported to the middle managers all in the room together. There were 20 people in the room. One of the members stood up. We were focused on constructive feedback. He stood up and shared quite proudly that every time his boss gave him constructive feedback, they always had a closed door conversation. The conversation lasted for 1 full hour. In the course of that conversation, his voice would elevate. His boss's voice would elevate. And then he took great pride in letting me know that they were always able to work through that constructive feedback. I thought to myself, oh my God, I wouldn't want to be working with this guy. I would be hesitant to give him constructive feedback, knowing that it would take an hour-long conversation. I then asked him, is it possible that you can simply receive constructive feedback for what it is, helpful feedback? His response, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He was letting me know, and he was 63, he thought of himself as an old dog. He did not believe he was capable of learning a new trick. I then proceeded to give him constructive feedback in front of his boss, in front of his peers, and in front of his direct reports. He simply accepted my feedback without any resistance whatsoever. He was the last person in the room to see that an old dog had just learned a new trick. And what I did, I was able to perceive the opportunity and seize it. The opportunity was in the moment to be able to help him to perceive differently, to recognize that he might think he's an old dog, but he can still learn a new trick. And he was able to grasp that. And so was everyone else in the room. This is an example that I want people that I work with to be able to learn how to do, how to affect change, how to change the way someone perceives themselves and their situation in one brief interaction.
I love that. And my first thought goes to, I'm also 63 and I love learning new tricks. So I do not consider myself an old dog either, but
I know you to be someone who still learns new tricks. Thank you for sharing that.
No, absolutely. It's a little humor for us as well. But it sounds too, though so many individuals get stuck in the way they perceive things. And just by guiding him through simply because of your own awareness and perception, you helped him shift his awareness and his perception. And he learned a new trick.
Basically, we all have the capability to be able to affect change in one brief interaction. Few managers have developed their skill to affect change in one brief interaction. We're all capable of it. Why not seize the opportunity and learn how to affect change in one brief interaction? When you do, everyone wins. You, the people who report to you, and your company. And if you happen to give feedback to somebody who works for a different company, then their company wins too, and so do they.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more. And perception, how you view something, which I believe you can shift. You can change everything in the moment.
Absolutely. And this does closely correlate with beliefs. You could say he had a limiting belief. And because I perceive creatively, I helped him shatter a limiting belief.
Absolutely. So the importance of perception and how it's a creative act. I love that. Thank you for sharing with us today, Keith.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
You bet.
Always great to be with you. I look forward to being with you again next week for our next weekly insights.
Likewise, Keith. Have a great week. See
Thank
again
you. You
next week.
too. Take care.